Welcome back to Doobrey's Day. Today on Doobrey's Day we're going to mix up the finalising and grinding down the handguard with using our new 84 engineering grinder. I want to show you the tooling on this device and do our handguard in that process. Let's go. So if you can remember, last time we managed to bend this handguard. We've drilled some pilot holes in here and I've got to finish those off. But I want to get this up to a half decent finish before I start finding out the holes in this handguard. The 84 engineering grinder that we've got, let me just take you in there a little bit, comes with a number of options. At the moment I've got just a standard wheels on there with a platen, but I'm going to go through all of the different options that we've got on here for the 84 engineering grinder. And then we're going to add the various tooling bars, etc. onto it, and then use that tooling to actually tidy up and clean down our little handguard down here. So let's get started. Okay, the first bit of tooling I want to show you is the standard tool rest. This goes into the secondary hole in the bottom here of the grinder. It squeezes in, and when you've got a belt on here, you can then, let's put the belt on so you can see. With this tool rest here, you can plug it into the second hole here. You can push it right up against your belt, and then you can tighten it up on the right hand side. I'll just show you that. So you can use these handles here to tighten up the various arms. But what I want to show you is that you can come really close into here, so you can actually put your piece of work on this platen, which is this part here, and bring your work right against it. So this is a little 40 grip belt which I've just been using for playing with. I don't want to start with 40. In fact, I tell you what I will do. I will start with 40 because I know I've polished it quite up. You can also use this video to go through the various belts. So this is a 40 grits. This is really quite a hard belt. I'm just going to adjust this slightly because I want to make sure it's square. Okay, we're going to make sure that this is square first. So I'm going to bring my my work rest up. As you can see here, it's miles out. So I'm going to undo this bar here, straighten this up, and then make sure the 1, 2, 3 block is nice and square on there. So I'll just undo here, release the pressure, make sure this is nice and square. 1, 2, 3 blocks are perfect for this. Lock it down, lock everything down, lock the tool rest down. I'm just going to bring the tool rest out slightly so I can put the belt on. Pop the belt on, like so. Lift both the tool arm out, lift the secondary arm out, pull out just a tad. Lock it, lift it. There we go, that's a lot tighter, that's better. Then bring the tool arm in, lock it down tight. It's all good, good to go. So I'll just put my respirator on, but I'm going to take my handguard. I'm going to bring it up against here. I'm just going to do a light touch over the top. I can then go inside here, but then I can't get into here, so we're going to use another piece of tooling to try and get into there as well. Let's get the respirator on and let's get tidying this up. Okay, so I've done a quick grind on there. I just do it so you can see it. I have to stand in front of it, I think, so it focuses. There you go. That's just with a 40 belt. You see it's lovely and clean. Now then, so that's a standard tool work rest. I want to get inside this here now. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to put on one of the smaller wheel attachments on it and flip it on its side and see if I can get in there with the smaller wheel attachments. Let me just show you those. We have these small wheel attachments. Let me just show you those. Two different types. This is a small one which has got two sides, and obviously it's quite thin. And then you've got this one which, if I just show you like that, is probably more used for doing some hollow grinds, that kind of stuff. But again, it's got two sides. It's got a really, really, really thin side there and a big side there. These will connect into the tool arm, which I'm going to add into a second. And I'm going to use these to see if I can get into here. In theory, I should be able to get into that little bit just in there. The thing to note using the small tool arms, as John told me, is the notes on the box. What it says here: do not run any small wheels too fast. Due to the difference in diameter between small wheel and drive wheel of your grinder, care must be taken not to run wheels higher than 20 Hz or a quarter of the full speed of your grinder. So I've got to do this really slowly. But considering I want to get on the inside of our handguard, I'm going to now swap this configuration over, put the small tool arm on, and give it a try. So let's set up the next configuration. Take the tool arm off. We'll take this tool arm out. On this tool arm, which I've not used before, as I understand it, it goes in here. And we'll go for this particular small wheel attachment. So that connects into the front here. And then you can tighten this up. Now, I understand that the belt goes underneath this and then around the end here. Let's pull this out. Make sure it's, oh, wrong one. Just make sure it's tight. Now then, lift this up. Let's give it a little bit of a push. Let's see where we are. So that needs to come out a little bit. As you can see, small wheel arm is on there, and the small wheel arm attachment is on there. Let's come at an angle, and then let's try and get into that area on the handguard into here. So I'm going to run this really slowly. I'm going to try and go into here like this. So put it on forward. Start off a really small speed. Wow, I never would have been able to get into that space. I'm going to speed up just slightly. That's working brilliantly. Just zoom you in so you can see what I'm doing. This is where I've always struggled before to get in there with the grinder, but now I don't have that problem. As you can see, just zoom you out so you can see, it's starting to get in there really nice. I'll stand in front of it again so it focuses. You can see where it's been grinding in there. So I'm going to quickly grind up in this. This is the second configuration. So we're in the vertical orientation currently, but because this is such a clever tool, watch this. You know, undo this, flip it on the side, and I've now got the orientation this way. Now, this is the universal tool rest. It's multifunctional. You've got so many gadgets underneath. So if we pop this in, we can adjust this in any direction. So as an example, on the top here, we can go up or down. On this one here, we can turn it in or out. I'm going to go quite a way in. You can then move this up or down, and you can move this side up or down as well. So I've got it against here, and I'm going to run it up. And with our piece of work, we can now come in at an angle. So I've now got a lovely tool rest I can just rest on and go into the actual work. Meaning I can keep things really flat. Now if I want to raise it up slightly, I can. I can just undo this, push it up gently till I get to where I want it to be. Just that one there. Sorry, I've done the wrong one. Raise it up. This is the bottom of the wheel. Lock it in. Make sure everything's locked in over here. This has become a little bit loose. And now we're even closer. You can see it's very, very close on here. So, you can use your work rest. Clean that inside up really beautifully. Okay, that's the second configuration done. That's the inside cleaned up. Outside clean, inside clean. I appreciate it's only a 40 grit belt at the moment and I can tidy it right up, but be able to get in those corners you can't normally do. Look at the quality inside that corner. Look how clean it is. So that's the second configuration. I'm going to stand it back up again and I'm going to show you the next configuration. So I'll take this universal work rest out. Take that out. I'll just show you quickly the next wheel attachment. Just slide it off, pop the wheel attachment out. So that's that wheel attachment off. The next wheel attachment, it still goes on the small tool arm wheel attachment. This one is a little bit bigger. Pop that in there. Tighten it up. Take our belt. Lift it up. This needs to be a tiny bit tighter because it's a bit different on length, so we'll just adjust this out slightly. There we go. Again, we'll start her up. So this time we've got an even thinner wheel, so we can get right in there. So yet another configuration. I want to go back to the platen arm, because what I want to show you on the platen arm is you can what I want to show you on the platen arm is when you're in this configuration with the platen arm being vertical, if you just undo this here, you can then slide it down and you can become, I've got the arm is slightly too long, there we go. I'll just slide that back in ever so slightly. Lift up the pressure. And now we have a 5 inch wheel for grinding. Now then, you can also get an 8mm wheel. Okay, this is the big 8mm. It comes with a standard bolt and nut, so we'll just quickly undo that. I'll show you how you use this. This is quite clever. He said dropping it. Pop the nut through. On the other side, attach the wheel attachment. I'll tighten that up. Take the pressure off this. Remove, just using this, the platen. Take our big wheel attachment, pop it straight in. I would need to quickly adjust the little nipple here, just to make sure it lines, but for the time being, pop it in, pop the belt on, lock that in, lock that in, lift the belt up. Oops, it's not quite tight enough. Let me just take the pressure off, adjust it so it's reasonably tight, lift up, and now we have, adjust it using the wheel at the back. A nice big wheel for grinding. So you take a piece of work, just been practicing with some of my welds, and grind down. Another configuration. The final configuration I want to show you, if we take this off, is my favourite, the surface grinder. Let's take the wheel out completely. Now the surface grinder is something very special. This is what the surface grinder looks like. It is a massive piece of kit. Okay, let's get it in and I can show you how it works. You pop it into the top arm with it facing towards you. I'm going to show you the other side because I think it's a little bit clearer. Okay, there's the surface grinder. And with that attached, we put the belt around in a similar fashion to everything else. Make sure it's reasonably tight. Lift up. It's a little bit too tight. Sorry, I've got to get used to the tightness of this. There we go. 5-inch contact wheel on here, and we've got some bearings here. Okay, and the bearings hold the platen. This is the platen. And two things to notice on here really. One is it's got a rail that connects onto those bearings. And secondly, you can adjust the height of the platen. And this is so you can do angled grinds by raising the front or the back end of the surface grinder, or just one side of it, using these handles as normal. Now you take the slider, pop it in, and then you can slide it all the way down. Now then, when you want to cut, you have to cut on the upstroke, because remember, this is spinning and pushing it away from you. If you do it the other way and you cut down, there's a chance that your work can fly off, so it suggests doing it the other way. This dial here controls the height of the surface grinder. So what I'll do, I'll just take it off here and show you. So if we were to put a piece of work in here, which we'll do in a moment, as you pull up on the surface grinder, it goes against the belt, and it starts grinding, and then the more you turn on this handle here, the more you take off the piece of work. So I'm going to get a small piece of mild steel just to show you. I'm going to attach it onto here, and then I'm going to slowly grind off. Now it's better to take small chunks of the grind rather than doing massive indentations here, because the work gets really hot. This has got magnets on it, so this actually will hold the work quite nicely. So I'll get a piece of mild steel. Here's my piece of mild steel. You can see, not particularly nice. Just stand in front so it's in focus. There we go. I'm going to pop it onto here. Okay. Now then, I'm just going to lower it down so it doesn't touch. Okay, so it's not touching at the moment. I'm now going to start the grinder up. Now you can see in principle what would happen. As I lift it, it's going to cut. So I'm going to turn it a little bit too much. I can see the work slightly off centre, so I'm going to just straighten it up. And it's still off centre. Just push it on a little bit. Then turn the base up slightly, then pull it back up. And again. And again. And again. You turn the black bottom dial, and every time you turn it, you pull it back. The surface grinds a piece of metal. So that's one of the final configurations. Let me just show you the piece of work. It's very hot. It does get hot on the grinder. Take this off. As you can see from that piece of mild steel, I'll put it in front of me again. That piece of mild steel is, as well as being incredibly hot, is incredibly shiny. And that's just using, there we go, that's just using a 40 grit piece of sandpaper or sand belt on there. So guys, that's the 84 Engineering 2x72 grinder. I've shown you pretty much most of the configurations. It's up to you and your imagination how you want to use this. Obviously, any of these orientations majority have been vertical. You can make them horizontal, so you can actually grind horizontally. So when you've got your piece of work and you want to go against the belt and so have the grinding going along the edge of the blade, you can flip this on its side. It's just a matter of undoing it, turning it over, doing it back up, and then now you're grinding horizontally. So it's really straightforward. You can see how simple it is. Just undo the nut, turn it over, do it back up again. Mine's a 1.5 kilowatt motor on here. I just need to show you the variable frequency drive before we go, because that's really important to see how easy it is to use. So I'll just grab this and take you over. Mine's just sitting on the side here for the moment. I've got to mount it. As you can see, you've got a power on and off. You can run it forwards or backwards. And then this is your speed. So if I run it forwards and then increase the speed, you can hear it increasing behind me. And it gets very fast. Wait for it to run down and then turn it off. So guys, end of the video, 84 Engineering 2x72 grinder with the surface grinder attachment, which is one of the main reasons I got it. You've seen various configurations, various wheels. Price, they're not cheap. The basic unit is about £600–700. Then you have to buy your motor on top, and then each of the tooling arms, various tooling arms I've got here, cost additional on top of that. And then you've got the cost of your belts. I've also paid for the floor stand, which I've shown you, which allows me to flip this both horizontal and vertical. I would say that's a must. Now you can get a bench stand, which does exactly the same. Absolutely get that, because it allows you to have the ability to flip it horizontal and carry your grinds horizontally, which most normal grinders don't have the ability to do that. You also get these extra shields, which stop a lot of the sparks coming towards you, which are really good. You've got the pistons, so you can take the pressure on or off the belts. And yeah, absolutely brilliant. So if you've got any questions or queries, guys, give me a question or query down below. Check out one of my other videos up here. Give a thumbs up to John at Multi-Tool. I'll give a link down to John. That's where you can buy these in the UK and Europe. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Doobrey's Day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers then. Bye.